Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, hurricane season has officially arrived. How and when you should prepare, even if you don't live near the water.
Plus, health officials issue a warning as the summer travel season starts to heat up.
And a Florida woman facing charges after shooting her father in front of a county sheriff's office. First at 5 starts right now.
From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching
The start of June marks the beginning of hurricane season, and Alachua County officials are preparing residents so storm doesn't turn their lives upside down another year. This is WUFT First at 5. I'm Radaysha Robinson.
And I'm Ciara. WUFT's Michael Orlando tells us how they're helping people tap into storm preparedness.
Dozens of High Springs residents spent their Saturday at the brewery, but instead of a bowl of peanuts, their beer came with a lesson about hurricane preparedness.
It can be intense when the showers aren't working, you got kids, you got animals. It can be intense if you don't prepare. It can be hard.
Hurricane season is here, and emergency management officials want to get their message of preparedness flowing earlier rather than later. So what better way to do it than with good music, good conversation, and good drinks? High Springs Brewing Company is one of 4 stops in their Tap into Preparedness series. Firefighters join them and set up tents outside of the brewery, letting visitors know what to do so hurricanes don't catch you off guard.
Yeah, this is an excellent opportunity for us to, interact with our neighbors and make sure that they have that plan ready to go.
Last year's hurricane season was an unusually active one. 3 major storms hit north central Florida. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration leaders think 2025 will be active too, but emergency management leaders say residents should stay prepared even in the quietest storm season.
Active season, underactive season, normal season, those don't matter. It only takes one storm. One storm comes through, affects you, it's a busy season.
Fort White resident Chris Lewis told me how important staying prepared is for his family. He says his power was out for 3 weeks after Cat 5 Hurricane Irma hit in 2017.
What would we do without medicine? What would you do without toilet paper? For crying out loud. Just these small, simple things. There's so much that you really thank yourself. You're like, gosh, thank you for letting me have this.
Lewis came to the brewery to listen to the live music, but was glad to see his neighbors learning an important lesson about hurricane preparedness.
You're not going to be able to go get the stuff you need whenever there's trees all over the road, power's out, the store has no power. Where do you go to get it, right? You got it. Now is the time. It has to be now.
Michael Orlando, WUFT News.
If you missed Saturday's event, the county is hosting several more this month. The next opportunity is on Friday, June 6th from 6 to 9 p.m. And the First Magnitude Brewing, Gainesville. And coming up later in the newscast, we dive into the crucial role meteorologists play in getting hurricane information out so neighborhoods can make informed decisions before storm arrives.
The city of Gainesville has published a new hurricane preparedness brochure to help neighbors make emergency plans ahead of what forecasters predict will be an above normal hurricane season. The brochure, called Prepare and Weather the Storm, includes information to help residents prepare well before hurricane watches and warnings are issued, and lists key emergency contact information and resources. It's available online at safegnv.org, while printed copies can be found at Clarence R. Kelly Community Center, the U of Health Urgent Care Center, the Florida Department of Health in Alachua County, and City Hall. Hurricane preparedness is also among the subjects of the June episode of Gainesville's monthly television program, G&V on the Move. This month's edition will air Saturday, June 7th at 8 p.m. on Cox Cable Channel 12 and Saturday, June 14th at 5:30 p.m. on WUFT-TV. It'll also be available on demand through the Roku and Amazon streaming platforms, along with the City of Gainesville YouTube channel.
And while the UF weather team will be on hurricane watch for the next few months, right now they're tackling rain for our work week. UF forecaster Aiden Wacksman is live in the studio right now, telling us when a wetter weather will arrive.
Yeah, we're actually expecting some rain over the next couple of days. Right now, though, just clouds over the University of Florida campus. Century Tower not getting any sunlight at the moment. 88 degrees with some winds from the southwest, about 5 miles an hour. Just some light winds to cool things off a little bit for most of our area. Gainesville 88, Cedar Key 83 and 84. Some areas getting into those low 80s to cool things down just a bit from those mid 90s we've been experiencing as of late. The hourly forecast showing those clouds sticking around for the foreseeable future all the way into the early morning hours tomorrow before that rain should pick up, especially on Wednesdays when we'll really expect to see most of that rain. And on June 1st, hurricane season arrived.
Federal agents say the man who carried out a hate crime in Boulder over the weekend is facing several charges. Investigators say he is an Egyptian national who's been in the country illegally since his visa was expired 2 years ago. And as Jay Gray reports, a calm weekend march turned into panic and chaos.
In just seconds, witnesses say a peaceful march is swallowed by flames and chaos.
I saw fire, I saw people falling and screaming and crying and tripping.
The suspect screaming "Free Palestine," spraying the crowd with a makeshift flamethrower.
Shoots of fire, linear, about 20 feet long.
Followed by multiple explosions.
He had 3 Molotov cocktails. One of them he threw inside of a group.
That group, called Run for Their Lives, routinely holding rallies calling for the immediate release of Israeli hostages in Gaza, as others nearby rushed in to help. Police arrested this man, 45-year-old Mohammed Sabri Salman. Investigators say he carried out the attack alone, injuring at least 8, the victims ranging in age from 52 to 88, some with severe burns.
It is clear that this is a targeted act of violence, and the FBI is investigating this as an act of terrorism.
Police spending hours in and around this residence east of Colorado Springs, the FBI saying it's associated with the suspect. While back in Boulder,
probably the scariest, most frustrating, terrifying thing, not just for me and my wife, but for my kids and for all of our community.
A community that 24 hours later is still on edge. Jay Gray, NBC News, Boulder, Colorado.
Health officials are sounding the alarm about the spread of measles, especially as summer travels ramp up, urging travelers to take precautions with an ongoing measles outbreak now spreading to airplanes and major travel hubs. This coming as families nationwide are trying to understand the changing government recommendations and messaging regarding the vaccination. If you've been vaccinated for measles, officials recommend reconsidering or postponing your travel until you are, as crowds and areas in train stations are the hotspot for people transmitting and contracting the virus. There are now 1,100 cases of measles across 33 states.
A Florida woman is facing charges of attempted first-degree murder after police say she shot her father in the back during a custody exchange. It happened at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office Administration Building, where police say the victim arrived to exchange custody of his children with his estranged wife. Officials say before the exchange to take place, the victim's adult daughter approached her father and shot him in the back. The victim ran into the building while his daughter shot again and missed. He was then taken to the hospital and is stable.
Over the weekend, Gainesville City and Alachua County leaders honored survivors of gun violence. The ceremony marked the beginning of Gun Violence Awareness Month. It was the first of several events organized by Impact GNV, a gun violence prevention initiative introduced in 2024. The ceremony featured remarks from city officials. The community's efforts for Gun Violence Awareness Month hope to honor the lives lost, forever change, and reaffirm their dedication to creating a safer Gainesville.
The final confirmation for Dr. Santa Ono is on the agenda tomorrow for the Board of Governors. Ono, who has most recently served as the president of the University of Michigan, was selected by the UF Board of Trustees on May 27th. The meeting is taking place at 1 Tuesday afternoon on the campus of UCF.
Coming up next, when First at 5 returns, hurricane season is officially upon us, and experts warn that danger and severe damages is only increasing.
And why that could affect us here in North Central Florida, even if you don't live near the coast. We're back here after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. Sunday marked the official start of the Atlantic hurricane season, and because of that, veteran forecasters want people to start thinking about evacuation plans, even those who don't live on the coast.
Meteorologist Chase Keynes explains how climate change is putting more Americans at risk of flooding from the hurricane.
Hurricane Ian intensified rapidly in 2022. Climate change supercharged the Category 4 storm, which reshaped both the shoreline and people's perceptions of hurricanes. Florida State researchers found nearly half of evacuees left only hours before landfall, despite a remarkably accurate forecast from the National Hurricane Center.
And I wish we would have evacuated even earlier than just the day or the hour, that morning of.
So you feel like the communication about evacuations could have been better or different?
Just a little better. And it really got down to the point where, okay, we were watching the news and said, mandatory to get out.
The storm is headed right to us.
Linda told me that warning from her local TV meteorologist is what nudged her family to leave, likely saving their lives because they returned to find their entire neighborhood leveled by Ian's storm surge.
Things for me have changed.
John Morales is a veteran meteorologist and hurricane specialist for NBC Miami. And because climate change is helping more hurricanes intensify more quickly, that's changing how he communicates with his viewers.
One of these days, people may not prepare like they should because they'll see the mundane tropical storm, say, oh, it's just, what's the worst that can happen? Maybe it'll be just a Cat 1. Well, one of the things about communicating the threat is those low probability, high impact events need to be talked about on air.
Fortunately, the National Hurricane Center's forecasts continue to improve, setting a record last year for the most accurate forecasts in their 70-year history.
So our ability to see these rapid intensifications has significantly advanced over the last several seasons. And even I sometimes am stunned at how rapidly we've progressed in this particular arena.
And those increasingly accurate forecasts from the NHC are important, whether you live right on the coast or even hundreds of miles inland like the folks flooded by Helene last fall. And that's why heeding evacuation orders and listening to a trusted voice,
look at this eye,
can mean the difference in life and death.
As the threat of inland flooding from a hurricane continues to increase, if you are evacuating away from the coast, it's important to look at those longer forecasts and make sure that you're evacuating somewhere that's out of the path of the storm. I'm meteorologist Chase Kane.
Coming up, there's a 10% chance we could see our first named storm of the 2025 hurricane season in the next 7 days. We'll have more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Well, we might not have a hurricane in the forecast, but that doesn't mean we'll see any sunny weather coming up soon.
With storms expecting to hit over the coming days, let's check how and when the storm will affect us in north central Florida.
Yeah, guys, some clouds on the way along with some rain. Let's take a quick look, though, at the upcoming storms for the 2025 hurricane season, or the predictions from NOAA and Colorado State, both predicting an above-average hurricane season. 13 to 19 storms for NOAA, 17 for Colorado State. We'll see how that unfolds. Hurricane season lasts from June 1st to November 30th. Right now, just cloudy skies overhead the University of Florida campus right now, 88 degrees with some light winds. Same case at Steve Spurrier Field as those clouds start to settle in for the rest of the night. And the rest of the evening looking pretty nice, getting at least not in the 90s for once, 84 degrees at 8 p.m. before we get into the high 70s at 10 and the mid to lower 70s as we progress through the evening. There was some rain that came along on Friday. It was ahead of a cold front. What's left of that front cutting through South Florida right now, and along with it, a lot of rain being caused by this upper level low pressure just off the coast of southwest Florida right now. And that rain should arrive closer to our area starting on Tuesday evening is when we start to see our first showers and thunderstorms come along before another round on Wednesday before that low pressure system finally clears its way out of our area. It's going to move toward the panhandle into the evening hours Wednesday before shifting to the northeast toward the South Carolina coast, where it has a 10% chance of developing into a tropical system over the next 7 days. It's according to the National Hurricane Center, has access to some of those warm Gulf Stream waters before it works its way along the Carolinas coast. Low temperatures for Tuesday morning, 68 in Gainesville, staying in those high 60s for much of the north central Florida area as we head into tomorrow. But Wednesday is when we get to see things really cool off because of that rain coming along, those clouds reducing the sunlight and reducing the temperature as well. Same case for Marion County, some much appreciated heat for once at this time of year. The 7-day outlook showing showers and thunderstorms all the way through Sunday, a rainy week ahead.
Coming up in sports, it was not a good weekend for the Gators on the diamond, both teams exiting their postseason World Series tournaments. However, a former Gators diamond great got the call he's been waiting for. We will have that call for you coming up after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Luis Rodriguez Combe. Let's get right into it, starting on the diamond where the Kansas City Royals are in urgent need of some offense. That's why they are calling up former Gator great Jack Caglione. Here's the moment where Cats got the news.
So you think you feel like you're at the point where you could help like them up there? You think you could?
Yeah.
All right, well then you can get on the charter tomorrow night and go with them. Thank you.
That is some awesome news for Jack Caglione. The 22-year-old Caglione has put some great stats between AA and AAA, batting for 15 home runs and 56 RBIs across the 50 games. The two-way player can bring a spark to the Kansas City offense, who ranks last in the majors with 34 home runs and 28 in runs scored with 194 total. Caglione will make his debut in the major leagues on Tuesday when the Royals host in-state rival the St. Louis Cardinals. Gators baseball could have used some of that Caglione offense this past weekend. After losing to East Carolina in their opening game of the Combe Regionals, they face Pirates again with their season on the line on Sunday. And now we're going to check the highlights. Bottom of the second, bases loaded for East Carolina, and it's right center field by Brandon Burris. Austin Arbery scores, and it's 1-0 to the Pirates. Staying on the second, still bases loaded, and Brody Donay can't handle the ball. Alex Pilter comes from third. It's 2-0 East Carolina after an error from Brody Donay. Now we move to top of the third, runner on second, and Justin Nato with a hit right field, and it's Landon Stripling scoring for the Gators. The game is 2-1. Staying on the bottom of the third with runners in first and second for the Pirates, and it's Brandon Burris once again with a hit right center field, bringing home Riley Johnson, and East Carolina goes up 3-1. Unfortunately for the Gators, Jack Herring will put another hit live center field. Pilcher and then Byron score, and that's 11-4 for the Pirates. The game would finish 11-4. Unfortunately for the Gators, the season is over, and the Gators season come to an end, finishing with a 39-22 record. Gator baseball was not the only diamond sport to have their season come to an end this weekend. The softball team saw their run at the Women's College 4 Series also end in a blowout fashion. We're also going to move to the highlights. This one got away for the Florida Gators really quick after the Lady Bulls put up 7 runs in the first inning that were back for more in the second. This is Sophia Nugent smashing the full count offering over to the left center wall, and it's 8-0 Tennessee. And then the next batter, McKenna Gibson, sends one over the wall right center, and it's 9-0 back-to-back homers for the Lady Bolts. Moving on to the top of the 4, it's going to be 10-0 Tennessee. The Gators get on the board with a 2-home runner to the home center field from Regan Watch, cutting the lead to 8. It's 10-2 Tennessee. Next batter would be Corby Otis, send it left center, and it's a solo home run. Ciara makes it 10-3. Tennessee still up, but that was as close as it gets, because Tennessee ends Florida's season with an 11-3 win. The Gators finish the season with a 48-17 record.
Barely clearing, but it's enough.
The Gators finished the season with a 48-17 record, securing the number 3 ranking in the final EP poll, marking another successful chapter in the program's storied history. Lastly, for the Gators QB DJ Lagway looking faster than ever, announcing a new NIL deal with Lamborghini Orlando. That's it for sports. We will have a final look weather after the break.
There's plenty of rain on the way over the next week.
Thanks, Aiden. We'll see you next time for another edition of First at 5.